New torch in for testing today. It's the M2T Warrior, brand new model from Olight, and this was sent in via the company for a review and test. So we're going to go through, have a look as we normally do. Olight has changed their packaging. They've gone to a sort of plain white, simplified packaging as such. Hopefully it's a bit more recycle friendly, easy to get into the torch as well. And on the back you'll see some of the features that we have on this particular model. Now we've got a 3-in-1 tail switch on this, which is different from the previous Warrior torch that I looked at. And they've also changed a couple of different things as well as a faster strobe frequency. You'll notice at the top that's the CR123A runtimes. The 18650 is just below that. Onto the pack contents, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Now we'll just take this out of the box, completely different to all of the other torches with the white box and moulding. And you just lift off the top and your accessories are under there. It's perhaps a bit easier to get into than the other ones. You'll see with the torch, initially it looks very much the same as the M2R Warrior, but it's actually basically the same size. I thought it was initially a bit smaller, but the measurements are basically the same on this. But the design is quite similar, but there's a few subtle differences. The clip retention is a bit stronger. You'll also notice there's more knurling on the base cap there. And around the head they've added some flat sections, slightly different design to the M2R Warrior. Although it retains the same overall look, you can see here just slight difference in terms of the case. Not a big deal, but it's just something which I thought I'd mention. Even the body knurling is slightly different. So there's that very fine knurling around the base cap. That's because this torch doesn't have built-in charging. So you'll be opening that up quite a bit more than the Warrior. And there's the base cap there. You see it sticks out proud. And it's also got that dimple effect on it. So we'll just unscrew this and show you what you get. You see the positive terminal mark there. There's the contact points. They're spring loaded inside and on the base cap as well. And you get a holster, or rather a cartridge, which holds the two CR123A cells. These are non-rechargeable. They're around about 1600 milliamp hours in capacity. So you will need to get yourself a 18650. It doesn't come with a rechargeable battery. These are the sort of batteries that I would use in an emergency. You can use the rechargeable ones as well. They're not as high a capacity. I'd definitely go looking for a 18650 if you don't already have one. You'll be able to see inside there the spring. So you've dual springs, and you see the inner tube section there as well. That's because of the switch design. So we'll put in our own 18650 and give this a test. The threads are square cut, nice and smooth. There's a bit of grease on there already. Good fit and finish, just like the previous Warrior, and here's a side by side with the two of them. You can see there's subtle differences in terms of the case design. Don't really see any major disadvantage or advantage either way, apart from the fact with this model you're going to be unscrewing the base cap to change the battery, which you'd be less likely to do on the M2R Warrior. Now you can take the M2T base cap and put it on the M2R, but you just get the two functionality, the dual switch on that, rather than any different functions, because that's the way the torch is programmed, and the other way around doesn't work. We have a XHP35 HD, but there's a slight difference in terms of the coating on the LED. Very similar design with the crenulated bezel as well. They're both textured reflectors, and this is just a quick guide to show you the tail switch operation. So we have it's 2-stage, but you can hold it in and it does a third action. So we'll go through that in a while with the functions and UI. Holster is different to the M2R Warrior. It's more of a reinforced around the front and back. You have a Velcro section that you pull open with a flap and the plastic D-ring at the top. It's a decent quality holster. I did like the original M2R Warrior holster. You still have holes at the bottom on this and at the top. They've added a hole to the top of this, but you definitely want to unscrew the base cap or put the lockout when in the holster due to that switch design, obviously on the base particularly. So you have the two holes, no complaints really with it, nice enough holster. Doesn't quite have the same excitement as the M2R Warrior holster though, which I thought was quite different, but more than up to the job of protecting the torch. Now you also get an included wrist strap, same design as the previous ones with the adjuster, and there's your connection point there on the base cap to attach that if you want to use it. Quick look at the user manual. And you'll see the runtimes listed out, same as the back. You can see that we have the 6 power levels for the 18650, and this is the operation. So you can pause that, have a look through. Basically the same as other Olight torches that I've looked at, but I will go through that as well later on with the UI. Olight have been quite consistent with the UI in recent torches, and they've pretty much got it nailed as far as I can see anyway. There's your warranty information as well. 5 years on this one too. So simple, on and off, single press, push and hold to cycle the 4 power levels, and mode memory up to the high, not the turbo. So to get to the turbo, double press, and that will take you up to the top level, and triple press to get into the strobe. Moonlight, just push and hold in for a couple of seconds, and then the lockout, push it in again, and you'll see it go into lockout mode, and the LED indicator will light up when you press it. So they've mapped out, as before, you have the highest and lowest modes in separate function on the torch, which I think works very well actually, and the lockout locks both of the switches out. So if you press the base button, that's locked out as well once you've activated the lockout. Now the UI on the base or tail switch, light press momentary on, that's a turbo, medium press on and off, and long press takes you into strobe. So it's 2 actions, but if you push in and hold, it goes into that strobe mode. You see there's a very slight delay of about a second whilst it's in the momentary, then it switches over to the strobe. Now I've been testing this a lot and using it quite a bit. I never had a problem getting to any of the 3 functions with the switch, but do bear in mind the base and tail switch takes priority over the side switch, so whatever you've done with that, it doesn't go back to the last level. So that's the main function on that. I'll just give you a quick closer up look. You can see there's a bit of play, a bit of movement there. It's also greased up as well. They've added the silicone grease on that, so there's quite a bit of movement on that. So you'll be able to feel that 2-stage pressure and then hold it in for the strobe mode. I think it works well. I haven't really got any complaints with it at all. It's definitely an improvement over the original because you had to switch modes to be able to get that extra functionality. You had the 2 modes on the M2R Warrior, so that's something which is an improvement in my eyes. But that would depend how much you used the tail or base switch. Some people would use a side switch. It is anti-roll design even with the clip off, but obviously downside with that exposed switch on the tail is you can't stand it up. Didn't have any issues at all with water resistance. Now I'm going to go through my usual beam shots here. We'll start with the M2T. You'll notice the tint on this is a bit closer to a cool white than the M2R Warrior, which was a bit warm actually, even the cool white one. I haven't had a chance to look at the neutral white. So this is the M2R. You can see slightly different tint. Don't dislike either of them. In terms of power output, very little to choose between these two. I'd say the M2R Warrior, very slight extra fill around the edges. You'd be able to see if you pause that and go back. And comparing the strobe mode, M2T first, and then the M2R. So they've speeded up the strobe mode on the newer model. So what we'll do now is run through the beam shots as per normal, and we'll come back with a few thoughts at the end. few thoughts compared to the M2R Warrior. The T compared to the R, it's really going to depend on what you're looking for. You have the 3-mode base cap switch on the T. That is definitely an improvement in a lot of ways. You had to switch modes on the M2R to get the additional functionality, so you had to switch between 2 modes, but you don't get the in-torch charging and you can't tail stand the torch, so that's a compromise that comes with that exposed, easy to get to base cap switch on the M2T. But some people are going to like that. Definitely do use the lockout when you're putting that in the holster, though much more so than the M2R Warrior, because it's very easy to activate that, so that's something you need to watch. But it is cheaper, so that's one advantage of the M2T, even though you don't get the rechargeable battery and it isn't a way to charge it in torch. Would have been nice perhaps so they could have put a micro USB charging port on there, even if you had to get your own battery. So you'll have to factor that into your purchase decision. If you already have the M2R Warrior, it's probably not enough here to convince you to change, and I don't think it's really designed to do that. I think it's an alternative to the M2R for buyers who perhaps want that extra functionality on the tail cap switch. Good UI, 6 power levels, you've got the dual switches, double clip, you have that improved base switch and good power output. Not quite as bright as the M2R, but it's pretty close, and the price is a bit lower as well, which does stand out. And now I've listed a couple of points. A spare O-ring not included, would have liked that. And also the side switch could be used in different colour levels for the battery indicator. That's an improvement that I would make. But overall, it's a very nice torch. But do let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on this? Anything that you might change or modify? Would this be something you'd be interested in? And which one would you prefer, the M2T or the M2R Warrior? Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch up with you in the next one.